Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do two 10-minute segments on individual stocks. One of the key things I promised myself before I started the service is that I like to stick to my original methodology and my discipline, that I don't specialize in way too many stocks. I specialize in a bunch of them. I play different things, sometimes a little bit out of my realm of understanding, stocks patterns I don't understand just because they have the right momentum or such and such. But generally speaking, I'll specialize in maximum 10 to 20 stocks. I know exactly how they trade. At least I can make a informed forecast on what I can expect. So saying all that, let's take a look at Priceline here. I'll be the first one to admit that I didn't buy and I hold any particular calls of any value, I should say, to capitalize on today's move. So this was, this is a stock I trade very often, as you all know. This is a chart that I showed many times. I showed what the downsides would be, I said what the upside would be, and this is what happened. So if you look at this chart here and just look at it carefully, let me point out, you're going to see that, let me get my drawing tool, it bounced off exactly off the 34. I did say that it was going to come here weeks ago from these levels. It did. When it shot up to these levels, I said, you know what, I don't want to play it, it's way too choppy. This is very choppy. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to kind of sit back. I did notice that the stock wasn't down 50-60 points after earnings. That was the first tell that they weren't going to crater the stock, to be honest with you. So it was my mistake that it didn't jump back in. This doji move is some big short fund that got absolutely creamed, absolutely murdered today. Somebody got hurt real bad. Okay, this is not retail and in our chat room buying stock, or some crazies on StockTwits buying Priceline. This is institutional hedge fund short squeeze. They got caught, and that's why the stock literally went in a straight line, 1273 to 1310. So where are we with the stock right now? I've shown this before, I'll show it again. We are here, right? We're here. So at this point, I would love to be a buyer of Priceline. And again, what I like or not, the market doesn't care. I keep on teaching everyone the same story. You gotta play with what the hand you're dealt with. So here, I would love to, again, I'd like to see it come down towards this 1294 level, 10 points, and we basically go from there. Is it going to be that easy? Absolutely not. But at this point, the highs are visible, and if I go on the daily, you're going to see that if we cross over and stay crossed over 1334, we're going to take out the highs, 1381. So my gut tells me they want to take this stock up to 1400. And if I do the weekly, let me take this out, there are way too many drawings here. If I take the weekly, there you go, clean, I could see that. Look how I know. Very simple. Look at the OBV, still strong. Look at the histograms, 1, 2. So what's it telling me? Let me add another indicator. Hold on. Let me add the indicator. Where's the 9? There. Okay. So if you look at the 9, let me make it gray. Sorry. Okay. So the 9 crossed over, look at this crossover, the 9 crossed over the 34. Look what happens when the 9 crosses over the 34. 1 second, let me close this out, okay. Last time it was here, so the 9 crosses over the 34, and the 34 starts to play catch up. Look what happens. It happened here, at these lows. So what I'm saying is that this histogram is two green bars. It's probably going to be 3 or 4 on a weekly. That would take the stock higher. These don't suddenly just turn negative unless something dramatic happens. They tend to last for at least 2 or 3 bars, which in this case being the weekly, you're looking at 2 or 3 weeks. So by the end of the month, if we project out, we should see Priceline at least 1378 to 1400. It's my gut feeling. Otherwise, if the histograms start to decrease right there, just to get smaller and come negative, then obviously this stock can't go any further. But that's my gut. And that's probably what's going to happen. So let's keep an eye on it. You got to be quick. But so far, so earnings are out of the way, and obviously, they did a good job of being conservative with their guidance, and the stock has a shot to go to 1400. These histograms, watch it, put it on the weekly, put the histograms, and you'll see if they keep on rising as they did here 4 weeks in a row. Look what the stock, the stock basically went at that point from 1308, wow, where we were, to 1376. So we probably got another 70 points in it, not a coincidence. You look at that. Histogram was on the first one, the second one. By the second one, it was at 1374. So here, that's probably what's going to happen. I don't want to go any further. Let's take a look at Apple. This is a very clean looking chart. This is the weekly chart, okay? So I would say by end of this week, if not next week, we're going to see the stock at 101. And that's what, this is nice. It's just really, it's clean. I really don't have much to say here. If we fall below the 93 level, then we have downside to 89. So let's keep an eye. But so far, this rising wedge brings us into play, and when the stock is almost there at 100, why shouldn't it get there? So just keep that in mind. I've shown this chart, and it's pretty simple. Let's take a look at Twitter. Again, another clean chart here. Okay, this is the hourly chart. Let's look at the daily. Daily is pretty clean. It's got that galloping horse look, right? So all kidding aside, strong move, like I predicted. Okay, then a consolidation flag, and now the break through the consolidation. These are moving up. Histograms are green. So we're okay. So what could happen is this thing gets back to about 48. So this is clean, all right, straight, then a consolidation. Now it's going to start to move. Anything can happen. We could break below. Get this drawing tool again. We could break below 42 or 41. Test that it could come down to 40.50, which is 34 EMA, and if we broke that, we'd be getting down here. Can that happen? Look, anything can happen in the market, but right now, from what I see, is I believe it holds this level of 42 and change, and then moves from here. I like it, cheap calls on it, and when it moves, it really moves. So that's what I see. Let's take a look at the 60-minute. The 60-minute is more pronounced. You can draw this line properly like this. There. It's all about watching the details, right? So right now we need to basically go over 43.73. No confirmations, believe me, confirmation change in a dime a dozen. This pattern is pretty good. RSI is moving up, histograms, 3 bars here, OBV starting to curl up. I'm sorry, OBV is strong. The RSI is what's showing, strong RSI. That's important. Let me make it bigger. Look at that, straight up. So strong relative strength. So at this point, I'm looking at 44.38, and above that, there's a gap fill up here. That's 46 bucks. That's a real decent sum of money for playing the weekly calls, all right? Whether it's this week and next week. So just play it the way it is. Let's take a look at Google. There's nothing wrong with Google. It's just resting, for God's sakes. People got all panicked and stuff. Some people. Google, why is it doing this and that? I got inquiries from StockTwit side. Well, I'm not Sergey Brin, but the reality of the situation is that Google is basically resting. This is a nice pattern. Let me just draw this. I'm running out of time. So you got this going on, this, and I think it gets there. Okay, that's my feeling. And then of course